So you heard about master numbers. You might have even heard about karmic debt if you were here in episode 3. Exalted numbers, though, that's really my tea for real, because though master numbers you could only, or most likely would only have up to like a 33 or a 44 in a chart, depending on if we're including name numbers in this calculation, you could even go higher. Exalted numbers, you can be born on all numbers. There's 9 options, because that's how many exalted numbers there are. And they come from Vedic numerology, so we're going to talk about it. Exalted numbers come from Vedic numerology, and they're seen as the most complex form of that number. And this is why supplementary numbers are important, because otherwise we wouldn't know if you had an exalted number in your chart or not if we didn't look at the supplementary number. Same thing with karmic debt. We wouldn't know if there was karmic debt in your chart if we did not look at the supplementary number. And this, kids, is why supplementary numbers are very important. Back to the plot. Your exalted numbers range from 1 to 9 and can be found based off of the days that you're born on, potentially. They can also show up in other places of your chart. This could be in a name number placement or a destiny number placement. The options vary. So your exalted numbers are for 1, 28, for 2, 29, 3 is 12, 4 is 31, 5 is 23, 6 is 24, 7 is 25, 8 is 26, and 9 is 27. So if you have any of those numbers in your chart, that is an exalted number when we're doing calculation. And when I say when we're doing calculation, I'm talking about you added your digits together, and before you got a single digit, one of those numbers showed up. Whether that is you're doing your psychic number calculation, a name number calculation, destiny number, whatever, that number came up somewhere. Not only does it give you clarity that there's more complexity in your number, but it also gives you context of how that final digit is behaving. So let's say that you do have an exalted number 1, which is 1 simplified from a 28. 2 and 8, there's a lot there, and I'm trying not to overwhelm you, but there's shit like 2 and 8 reflect each other. That is a complexity with that specific exalted number, but also 2 and 8's relationship with the number 1 and how that also adds complexity. These are you have one odd number being the 1, and then 2 even numbers, and those sit in polarity, which is just to say that there's an opposition of some sort, because odd numbers are seen as outer focus energy and even numbers are seen as inner focus energy. So it's important to break down each exalted number with the context of, oh, there's a supplementary number that creates this final digit, and this relationship of this specific supplementary number is intense in some way. Now, exalted numbers are a type of supplementary number, so this does give insight to impactful ages, impactful periods, and even impactful dates. But it also gives insight into why certain things might happen, because again, exalted numbers are the most complex form of the number. Now, it's not to say that anybody without an exalted number is not going to have it rougher or more complex, but there's a specific type of complexity. So let's say you have that exalted 1 in your chart. There's an emphasis around 1 themes with the context of that 2 and that 8. So 1 themes would be confidence, authenticity, originality, uniqueness, genius, talents, things around that sort. When we're looking at somebody who has that dominantly placed in their chart, those things are going to be emphasized in their experience in even a larger way, because it is an exalted number, because of its complexity. With the context of 2 and 8 back there, this can put those themes in the scope of community spaces, familiar spaces, career spaces, and authority spaces. Legal spaces are all things that are tied to 2 or 8. So when we look through exalted numbers, we actually gain context for, oh, that's why this does this, because we look at not only what is creating the exalted number, but what the final digit is itself. And I actually do talk about this in my Decode Yourself guide, because exalted numbers are one of those things that I love to be thorough with. And I want you to be able to get the most context of exalted numbers as possible, because they're not really super talked about like that. Because again, everybody knows about master numbers, almost everybody. But master numbers are not the only relevant type of numbers or special type of numbers. So let me know if you have an exalted number in your chart somewhere and what your experiences are with that exalted number. And definitely check out the guide to learn more about exalted numbers as a whole and how they work. Now, in a shocking turn of events, exalted numbers are not the only other type of supplementary number outside of karmic debt. So we're going to ruffle some feathers in the next episode talking about master numbers. I'll see you over there.